Hi, this is Bartek from Poland. I'm representing organization Brotherhood. We are natural beekeepers. We want to keep bees in the manners that are most close to how bees should live in nature. I want to tell you some things about natural or rather treatment-free beekeeping in Poland, because I think it's important that we all shared what we are trying to do about the bad health of bees, about bees dying because of varroa, because of chemicals, because of pesticides. So this is why we have decided to record this video to, as I said, share what we are doing in Poland. I'm an amateur beekeeper. I keep bees for 6 years now. This is one of my apiaries, one of my forest apiaries. Here I wintered 7 colonies. I think 5 is alive, but I'm not sure yet. I will see how they are doing later on. I wintered 48 colonies, and for now I think about half, maybe little more than half of them are alive, at least to my knowledge. I'm treatment free for a couple of years now. I treated bees for the first time and the last time in 2013. In 2014 I skipped treating, and since that time I don't treat bees with any chemical substances. This is how I and a couple of my friends and colleagues are doing it. We try to focus on natural selection. We try to do selection of bees without any chemical substances. So we try to make bees help themselves. We don't want to help them, as beekeepers call it, with using pesticides or biocidals, because we think that in the long term it harms the bees. Okay, it makes them weak. It makes all the pests very strong, and they are stronger and stronger with every chemical substance that we add to the hive. We are very little minority, very little minority. There is about 60 or 70,000 beekeepers in Poland. We have over 1 million bee colonies in Poland, and I don't think that there is maybe 500 of them treatment free. Okay, as for me and my friends, we have about 150, maybe 200 colonies altogether. But we're not aware of every beekeeper that doesn't treat bees, because everybody says here in Poland that you should treat bees, that you should give some pesticides to the hive, or if not pesticides, some biocidal substances. We don't want to do it, so we don't, but many beekeepers say that we are some kind of eco-terrorists, okay, and that is why we don't always come out and say, oh hi, I'm treatment-free beekeeper, because it's not how the beekeepers want to do it. Okay, they want to do it in this manner, that if there is a pest, you have to kill it. And of course they love bees, of course they care about bees. We believe that there are so many examples in the world of beekeepers not treating bees, and of feral or wild population in the world that are coping on their own. That we should learn from these beekeepers, and we should learn from those populations, feral populations. We should see how they do it, what do they do in the hive, or what do bees do in their home that they can survive, okay, in the wild without any help, and especially without help of giving toxins to the hives, okay. So this is why we try to find examples, okay. We've tried that for many years. We found English treatment-free beekeeping, we've found American treatment-free beekeeping, okay. We've read many papers on wild or feral populations in the world, in South Africa, in South Africa, in South America, okay. I personally, when I started to keep bees, I didn't know that you just can leave them without treatment, okay. Everybody said you should treat your bees. So the first year I treated my bees, but I didn't like it. So I start to look for examples. How can I do it differently, okay? Because I can speak some English, I found American examples. I found Michael Bush, I found Kirk Webster, I found D. Lasby, I found Sam Comfort. I found many beekeepers from the United States that share all this knowledge that I looked for, okay? I found I met some beekeepers in Poland that think in a similar way, okay? We started to share the knowledge, we started to translate the texts. I personally translated some of the texts of Michael Bush. And we want to share this knowledge with other beekeepers, so they could see that bees can live without toxins, okay? We started to cooperate with some of my friends, with some of my colleagues. We started to share bees. We started to exchange queens. We started to exchange nooks of bees that are surviving without chemical substances, okay. So this is how our cooperation grew, and from that we started to talk about association. We started to talk about a group, about organization that could bring us together. We founded Natural Beekeeping Association Free Bees, but in time it didn't grow very much, okay, because there was some over a dozen beekeepers, but some, when started to lose bees, they turned to treating, and some of us decided that we should stick without treating bees, and we should just go with the bees that survive. Even if they survive in little percentage, we should start to breed from them, we should start to expand this population, and so we somehow divided in this group, okay. And later on we've decided that we want to promote treatment-free beekeeping, and some of my colleagues decided that they want to stay with this broader point of view, okay. So we that think in the ways of keeping bees totally without treatments, even if it costs these little lives of bees in the first part of the selection. We've decided to somehow, let's call it, swarm from the other organization, okay. So this is how we ended up in organization Brotherhood, which is organization which I now represent, and which tries to share all the knowledge and all the examples of how to keep bees totally without treatments. okay, without all essential oils, without acids, okay. So we try to make a group of people that learns from bees and from beekeepers who succeeded in it, how to keep bees alive, okay, totally without treating them. I personally and some of my colleagues are doing what Solomon Parker and Sam Comfort called expansion model beekeeping. So whenever some colony survives, we try to make as many splits from it as possible, okay? And of course they are treatment free, so the next year some of them dies and some of them survives. So whenever every year some bees survive, we try to make as many little nukes, as many little colonies from them. We try to share this knowledge that could lead us in the quickest and in the best way to skipping all the treatments. Of course, there are some ways of doing the selection without natural selection. Okay, when I was in beekeeping conference in Austria in Neusiedl, I met, for example, Erik Osterlund, that from Sweden. He treats bees with oil, with thymol, and doing this, he tries to seek for all that colonies that have the least possible amount of mites. Okay, so these bees that have little amounts of mites are split then in new nukes, and the ones that have big amount of mites are treated, given new queens, and well, the selection starts over. Okay, so this is another way of doing it. I personally believe that natural selection is doing the selection in much broader way and in much better way, because we don't lose any bees that may have some big amounts of mites, but in some time they cope with it and the numbers are falling down. Okay, so without natural selection we may lose those bees. Of course, when doing natural selection we may lose bees that would survive maybe if they had this help of some essential oil or other way of treatment, and if we don't do it, they die. But in the long term, I believe this way is better, because it keeps genetic diversity much broader. Okay. I just wanted you to know that in Poland we're doing some efforts of keeping bees without treatments as well, but these efforts are made by amateurs, because all professionals treat their bees and see us as you know, as some kind of group that want to kill all the bees and won't help them if they have problems. Okay, as I said, we are looking at this thing differently. We try to approach the problem of bees' health with the ways of nature, with the ways of evolution, not in the ways of chemical substances and modern medicine, which is always about if you have problem, you just have some pill or some syrup to deal with that problem. Okay, and in the long term, it shows that all the problems grow not diminish. Okay, so so that's it, I think. I want to say, when I'm speaking here, I want to say hello to all the beekeepers I met on the conference in Austria, and all the beekeepers that I met in conference in Holland, in Doorn, which was organized by Natural Beekeeping Trust. Special hello to Jonathan Powell and Heidi Herman. Special hello to Erik Osterlund. Special hello to my friend Sibyl Kempf from Germany. Keep it up, Sibyl. Don't worry about all that beekeepers then don't believe in your method. Okay, I think that it's important that we all do something. Okay, because when I see example of Erik Osterlund, who tried to be ready for the mites for 20 years before they came, and then I compare it to our beekeeping society, which 38 years after mites came to Poland, because mites came to Poland 38 years ago, they still don't believe anything can be done. Okay, so we should look at the example of Natural Beekeeping Trust. We should look at the example of Erik Osterlund. We should be prepared for this. We should do everything in our power to help bees, but to help them fight this problem on their own. Okay, so instead of waiting for another 40 years to make it happen, and that situation may be miraculously saved. Okay, we should do something, because we are beekeepers, and it's our responsibility to do something about the health of the bees. Okay, bye from Poland, regards from Poland, see you.